Welcome to the Ken Valdez approach.
Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody, welcome on in. It's your boy KV coming at you from my Soul Renegade Sound Studios here in Minneapolis. I'm welcoming you to the Ken Valdez approach. My friends, I have an exquisite guest for you this week. Her name is Britt Lightning. Now, I had heard of Britt several years back from my dear friend Rachel Ryan. Rachel is the drummer for the all-female Guns N' Roses tribute act, Paradise Kitty. They're just blowing up. Now, I had heard about Britt from Rachel because Britt was playing guitar in Paradise Kitty. Fast forward a few months later, and I meet Britt while she is attending flight attendant school here in Minneapolis. And I thought that in and of itself was just fascinating because I've never known anybody to go to flight attendant school, let alone this world-class guitar player, right? I mean, she's worked with international superstars like Alejandro Sanz, among many others. Her story is just fascinating. So we're going to be talking about her upbringing. We're going to be talking about her quest to the guitar and to these amazing stages. Also, we're going to be talking about the fact that she is one of the heads of the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp and how she got the gig, which she still holds, of Vixen, the all-female, probably one of the most well-respected all-female rock and roll bands of all time. So just get cozy, get comfy, have a drink, enjoy this conversation with the lovely, talented Britt Lightning here on The Approach. Hey, well, I am here with Britt Lightning, a Vixen. Britt, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. What's been going on with you the last, since I've seen you last? It's been a few years, it seems like.
It's been a few years for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see, lots going on. Still living in California and Los Angeles. Still playing with Vixen. I'm actually going into the studio tomorrow to record guitars on our new single.
Nice.
So very excited about that. And we are back to a good, healthy tour schedule. We're out pretty much every weekend for the entire summer. This weekend, we're headed out to Chicago to the Arcada Theater, which is one of my favorite venues to play. It's actually
I love that place. Yes.
Yeah, it's such a cool venue. And then up to Oroville, California, Northern California. And then in addition to that, I've been working with Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp as a musical director and helping to run the camps. And we finished our 6th camp in 5 months in May since January this year. And they were all very amazing. The last camp we did was our first ever women-only rock camp. So we had all women counselors, all women artists, all women attendees, and it was all women photographers. It was very cool. And that was with Melissa Etheridge and Nancy Wilson and Kathy Valentine and Orianthe. So that was a blast. Nice. And now we're taking the summer off of the camps and planning upcoming camps for the fall. And actually, we just announced one a couple days ago. We're doing a Beatles versus the Rolling Stones themed camp in City in November. So that's the first one on the books.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome. So we're definitely going to be touching on all of that because I'm fascinated with just that whole thing, right? It's been going on for years. And just to know that you are kind of, the head honcho over there that's something. That is really something. But, I just want to get to know you a little bit, right? So all these years and all the stories and all the tours and everything else, who are you? Who is Britt Lightning? Tell me about Britt Lightning.
Okay. Oh, well, gee, that's, what do you want to know exactly?
Let's start at the beginning. Tell me about your childhood. Yeah. Where are you from originally?
So I'm from Boston. Okay. And I played the flute. I started playing guitar in high school, right before high school. I went to a private Catholic school that did not have arts or music programs. So that was challenging, but they had a little guitar club that one teacher held his room open for after school, and all these kids would kind of just get together and play Metallica. So I got involved in that, and that really helped me start playing guitar. Got into Van Halen. Van Halen's what got me into guitar. Hearing Eruption over a radio, it blew my mind, and I hadn't heard anything like it because I really listened to like 90s hip hop and stuff before that. And so I was like, what is this? I never heard this. I didn't have any older brothers or anything to influence me to get into rock and roll. So that's what did it. After hearing that, I bought all the Van Halen albums, and then really with the guitar club, got into playing Metallica and Megadeth and Pantera and some of the heavier stuff. And then I formed then we started this coffee house thing where we would play in our cafeteria once a month. And so then I had a little band that kind of did covers, and my sister played drums in it. But then, then I decided really quickly, just from playing in my bedroom, that I needed a half stack. Like the practice amp wasn't big enough for my bedroom. I was like, we need an upgrade here. If I'm going to be playing Metallica, I need a real amp. So, oh my gosh, I bought a head. I bought a PV Triple X head. I still have that head. I always liked that head. Yeah. And when I was testing out amps, it was a store called Daddy's Junkie Music. I don't know if you remember that store. Guitar Center bought them out, but there was like more of a New England chain. Yes,
it was them. And if I remember correctly, on this side of the river, it was Mars.
I was just going to say Mars Music. Yes, right. I had that too. So anyways, I was testing out amps there, and the store manager came over and heard me playing Metallica, and he had a band that was kind of Metallica style and was like, we just lost our guitar player and we have a tour coming up. Do you want to join our band? Nice. And I'm just like 17 in high school or something. And I was like, yep. And then I went home and told my mom I was going on a 2-week tour in a van DIY with a bunch of older guys. And
how did that fly?
Somehow I went. Somehow I was allowed out of the house. But it was awesome. And so that was my first tour. So bottom line is my parents are very supportive and amazing people. And I did that for a little while. And and I just clearly remember, playing. The furthest we went on that tour was Baltimore, from Boston. And I just remember being there, like in the city, people like I didn't know, nobody telling me what to do or where to go. And I had just felt all this freedom, and I just played a show, and people said I was good. And before that, I hadn't played in a club before, so I didn't know if I really was good. My parents and my friends said I was good, but you never know. And I was like, wow, maybe I can really do this. So then I just had the bug. And then I came back and started an all-female rock band called Jaded. It was like a hard rock metal band. And I got my sister to play bass in that band, even though she was a drummer, because I couldn't find a female bass player. And I had a great drummer friend. So I did that for a while, played all over. And again, my parents were so supportive. They would, because we were still underage, we were still had the X's on our hands. And, so, and my dad, once my younger sister, she's 2 years younger than me, joined the band, they were like, we're definitely going to every show. Like, we're not having, 15-year-old Abby and, and so my mom ended up selling the t-shirts, and my dad was like a roadie. And so I really got into touring and stuff that way, but it was fun because we had fun as a family doing it. I got my parents out of the house. Like, they would never go to rock clubs ever. They weren't into rock music at all. So I gave them an adventure too. And then, And then after that, basically, just started, it was difficult to keep an original band going. And we had lead singer problems. They were always changing, and it was so annoying. And then after the last lead singer was kind of not working out, I was frustrated, and my friend said, you should really just start auditioning to be a guitar for hire, and then all you have to worry about is plugging in and playing. And I was like, it never occurred to me. I didn't even really know that was a thing. So he said, Lady Gaga has an open call in New York. She's replacing her whole band next weekend. You should go. So I went. Wow. And I came really close. I auditioned with her for a few days, and I was one of the finalists. And then the very end was between me and this one other guy, and she went with the other guy. However, that was really the one main audition I did. And then from that, I kind of got all my other gigs. So it was all kind of word of mouth. So even though that didn't work out, it was a positive thing. And then I started playing with Alejandro Sanz.
Right. That's interesting right there. That one is just, when I saw that, and I mean, that kind of made my head spin a little bit.
That came from the Lady Gaga audition.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
God, how old were you at this point?
20s, early 20s.
Man, at that point, like, how long have you been playing?
Well, I started when I was like 15, 16. So yeah.
So you were just going. You like once you picked up the guitar, that was it.
I was very determined. I really loved playing and I just became obsessed with practicing. I wish I still was obsessed with practicing, but I'm not. No, but I would lock myself in my room for like 8 hours a day and that's all I wanted to do. And so that, worked out.
That's awesome though. Oh, good for you. What was home life like? What was it like growing up in Boston with your family?
Oh man, I grew up on a farm, a horse farm. And I was really into horses. I was big into riding and hunter jumper eventing. And that's kind of what I thought I was going to do until I discovered guitar. And then I ran into a conflict when I started gigging out because the horse shows were very early Sunday morning and the gigs were very late Saturday night. And I was really having trouble juggling both at the same time. So this is a horrible kind of story. It sounds a little heartless, but it was for the right reasons. But I ended up selling my guitar and selling my horse, selling my horse and taking that money and buying my first custom Jackson guitar.
Oh, wow.
But no, I grew up on a farm and, so I always had a good work ethic and, my parents are amazing people. And so, I always, I wanted to go to Berklee growing up in Boston. For Berklee School of Music, I had friends that went there and I was playing in bands with friends that had graduated from Berklee. And when I told my parents I wanted to go to Berklee, my dad was like, wait a minute, I don't get it. John graduated from Berklee and he's working at Starbucks and James graduated from Berklee. Just giving guitar lessons. He's like, I don't get it. I don't think you're going to Berklee. He's like, Santana didn't go to Berklee. Jimi Hendrix didn't go to Berklee. If you're going to be a rock star, I think you just figure that out on your own. And so he convinced me to go for business and have kind of a backup plan, which I do think was a good idea, especially during the pandemic when you can't gig out and you need other skills to survive. So I ended up going to Northeastern for music business, which was really great. And I enjoyed that. So that's a little bit about my home life, but my parents were always encouraging, even though they didn't actually think I was going to do this for my life at all. I think they were just being supportive. And then it starts out being like supportive. Cool. Oh, that's good. She's getting into music. That's good. Then it goes to fear. Like, oh my God, are you serious? This is what she's going to do for her work. This is not good. And then there was that moment when I was playing stadiums and they came to see me play in Costa Rica at a sold out, soccer stadium.
Right.
And they were like, oh, then they're proud. And then they're like, good thing you followed your dreams. I'm like, yeah, but you had your doubts, but that's what the parents' job is, right? To look out for your kids because they want the best. But so I'm glad it worked out that way.
Yeah, no, that's awesome that you have that support. Your story is eerily similar to mine. There's some parallels there, especially with the parents freaking out and, I don't know if music is necessarily the best, place to make a living, to make a career, but damn it, it's fun. It's so fun. But yeah, your resume is incredible. You're still you are so busy. You're one of those musicians that continually stays busy. I've been following you on social media and stuff like that, and you're globetrotting and you're playing a ton and you're running the rock and roll fantasy camp, and I just kind of find it amazing that you have found a way to make it work for you, right? Because you have had kind of odds and ends jobs that let's just go here. If you couldn't play music, what would you be doing?
I think at this point I would want to be in the business, maybe, manage a band. I mean, I love doing the rock camp stuff, even just running those. If I wasn't, I'm involved in them musically too, but even if I wasn't, I enjoy that business aspect. I like like accomplishing things, and I love to be busy. And I've always had jobs in addition to playing music because I need to be doing something every day. So I've had a lot of weird jobs, and one that you know of, like I was a flight attendant. Because at one point I was like, okay, the gigs aren't super steady, but I have them, but I need something else. And as you know, once you go on the road and you have this freedom and you don't have a routine, I'm one of those people that I can't be boxed into a routine. It makes me freak out. Having a set schedule every day and the same thing. It's like Groundhog Day, I can't do it. So, I tried working when I moved to LA. Actually, I worked at Universal, and it was very corporate, and I had to be at my desk from 9 to 6. And I was in the legal department at Universal Records, and it was a cool job, and it's what I studied. And I was like, cool, I'm using my degree and I'm in the music biz, but I couldn't sit at a desk that long without having the freedom to get up and walk around and, work outside on a bench or, I felt like chained, and it was driving me nuts. So, so one job that I did enjoy, though, I was like, what do I like to do? I like to travel. Oh, I'll be a flight attendant. So I did that for a while, and that was a blast. I had to end up giving it up because it conflicted with my tour schedule. When we went to Europe, it was just too many days off, and I couldn't swing it. It was a lot of flying back and forth. But I enjoyed that. Luckily, that ended before COVID because I felt really bad for those flight attendants and pilots and stuff that was kind of stressful. But I'd do it again. I want to get my pilot's license. That's like a bucket list thing that I would like to do.
Awesome. What? Really?
Yeah, I would love to fly. I would love to fly. I wouldn't be a flight attendant again, but I would get my pilot's license. I would fly commercial and stuff if I needed a different kind of job. I think that would be fun.
Paging Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I love that. So, that's something I might do. But yeah, I've done all sorts of jobs. I bartended once. That was fun. But I wouldn't do that again. But it was fun for the moment. But you do all sorts of things to get by. I worked in a phone company for a little while doing training people on using phone systems and doing and now cell phones have taken over, but like auto attendants and stuff when you call places and you hear the voice. I'm on a lot of the Boston businesses. When you call in still, it's my voice.
That's awesome. Yeah, I got to check that out now. If they only knew, right?
Yeah.
If they only knew. What made you go out to LA, and how long have you been there?
Yeah, so the tour with Alejandro ended, and I came home when it was like, it was right around February. It was my birthday, and the tour just ended. And I had spent so much time in South America and Spain and places with great weather, and I came home to a snowstorm, and I couldn't even have a birthday party with my friends that I hadn't seen in such a long time because the roads were closed for 4 days. Oh, no. And I was just sitting in my condo drinking a bottle of wine, and I was like, you know what? I don't think I want this anymore. This isn't doing it for me. I'm over it. And I'm always cold. And I have like my fingers get cold all the time. It's actually troublesome to play guitar in the winter if like it's really cold and I can't get warm. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to LA. I've always wanted to. I've always had this poster of the LA skyline in, my living room. And I was looking at it and I was like, I'm going. And so that was it. I packed my things and I drove across country. And that was in 2015. So I'm coming up on my, 7th year maybe here, which is great because people say, once you get past 5 years, you can really do it. And it is hard. Everything's so much more expensive out here.
It is.
And
yes.
It's just a different vibe, So I'm really happy that I am still here and I love it. I love it so much.
So is music your full-time thing right now? This is what you're doing?
It is the rock camp, and between rock camp and Vixen, I'm staying busy.
Tell me about the gig with Vixen. How did that come about? How did you land up landing that one?
I was playing in the Guns N' Roses tribute, and then we did one of those jam nights at the Lucky Strike here in Hollywood. Yes. And Vixen's manager saw me, and it wasn't really public. But they were looking for a guitar player, and so that was it. He told the girls about me, and then I went down to audition, and that was it.
Wow. And what's it been like? How's it been? You've been with them for a while now. but I mean, is this something that you've wanted to do? Like, is this the kind of music you wanted to play? Is this the kind of band you wanted to have? Because I mean, it's nice to have those gigs that just seem to fit. This seems to fit you, right?
Yeah, I
this
love
seems
it.
to totally fit you. So that's why I'm asking about, I guess, just being in the Lion's Den, being in I don't even know what.
Yeah.
The Vixen Cave. I don't know, right? Like,
Fox Den, the Fox Den.
the Fox Den. Okay, there we go. Let's go there. The Fox Den. Being in the Fox Den.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I always wanted to be in an all-girl band. Like I had an all-girl band for 10 years back in Boston, and I love working with women because there's not a lot of women in rock and roll, and it's just so empowering, and there's no drama, and everybody's so supportive, and I just absolutely love it. And, when I started playing, I was into, like I said, Van Halen and Metallica, but then Pantera, but then I got into the more shreddy guitar players, which was like hair bands and stuff like that, because Nirvana and stuff at the time wasn't super inspiring. So I'm going back into Poison, Def Leppard, and Motley Crue, and listening to those bands. And then I'm like, ooh, Lita Ford is a female, and then Vixen. Oh my gosh, which reminded me of Gem, which I watched growing up, and I was like, whoa, they're real. This is awesome. So it's really been full circle because this is the style of music I love. I love 80s music. It's fun. The lyrics are upbeat, nothing too heavy, nothing too serious. It's great live music to play. Riffs are cool, good guitar solos. So I absolutely love it. And and I'm really excited now that we're starting to make some new music. And and I get to play on shows with all my, like Skid Row was one of my favorite bands ever. And it's like, we do shows with them all the time now. So it's like, it's fun.
Do you find it more difficult being a female in this industry?
I still think it is male dominated for sure. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily more difficult. I feel like it's been inspiring because, when I first taking it back to high school and that guitar club, there was all boys and they didn't really want me in there because they're like, what is this girl doing in here? So it made me want to practice really hard so that I would be accepted. And, and then I became guitar club president 2 years later. So I think it made me want to like work hard and prove that it doesn't have to be male dominated.
You're running the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, and this last one you said was all females. Mm-hmm. How does that make you feel to see, more, young women going out there and playing or learning about music or learning about guitars, learning about rock and roll? How does that make you feel, and where do you see the future of it with females?
It's awesome. I think there's more and more females. And I mean, even during COVID, those stats from the guitar centers and stuff said that, it was more than 50% of the people buying guitars were female. And those numbers were just going up astronomically since before COVID, So I think also with technology and, YouTube and everything that you can find online, there weren't so many tabs and tutorial videos when I started playing guitar at all. And now you go on YouTube and you see like a 2-year-old shredding Eruption perfectly. And it's like, what the heck? Like, where does this even come from? But I think it's because everything is so accessible. And I think that's awesome. So I think the future is looking good. So, I mean, I hate all the electronic music and stuff like that. So I'm hoping, since I have been seeing so many reels with kids rocking that the next generation is going to bring back some rock and roll. They say everything's cyclical anyways, but I'm optimistic about it. And I do have to say it's funny because when we do the regular co-ed rock and roll fantasy camps, there's generally, just a handful of women, and it's like a very, maybe 3% women or 5% max, right? And I don't know why. It's just more men sign up for it. I don't know. But when we did the women's only, it sold out. And so all the women that had come to previous camps were like, we thought there's only going to be like 10 of us here, that it was going to be this tiny little camp because when we go, we don't see that many women signing up. So where did all these women come from? And it made me think, oh, it's just because, it's intimidating to think like you're going to have to go jam with all these guys. And, because so there's still that stigma kind of out there somehow, and there's no need for it because these women rocked, and I thought the all female bands at this camp were better than the bands that we see at the regular camps. So I don't know, but it was awesome. It was a big success. We're planning another one in Nashville next year. So
that's so cool. That's so cool. What do you attribute the new interest, or the rise of the female guitar players or musicians? What do you attribute that to?
Good question. You mean like how are new young women getting into it?
Yes.
Huh. I think there are just some new bands, and I think a lot of like pop stars and stuff are starting to hire female musicians and female bands, and it's getting out there. I think the Me Too movement probably helped with that too. Like, oh, we need to put women in the forefront and more so, and so I think that was helpful. But yeah, I think you're seeing a bunch of pop stars with like all female bands now, which is really cool, and so kids go out and see that, and they're like, oh, I can do that.
So let's go back to something else that you had kind of talked about. So you got, you're interested in the business side of things as well. And you got a degree in that, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Music business, yeah.
Where do you see this music business at, and where is it headed?
Well, I have been hearing lots of good news that Spotify and some of these streaming services are going to kind of end and go to a new platform where artists will actually be paid.
God, I hope so.
And so I've heard that's happening. So I think that's a positive thing. I think, the digital, everything being so accessible, like I said, it's also hard because it's so oversaturated with stuff. Like I don't even know where to find new bands right now because I don't really listen to the radio so much. And, and I don't do Spotify playlists. I get stuck in my own playlists and listen to the same stuff over and over again because it's easy.
Yes.
And it's like work to find new music and bands now. So, and I don't have a lot of spare time. So it's like, for me, I feel a little like lost sometimes. Like, what should I be listening to? Like, what's cool right now? I don't even know. I listen to a lot of old stuff. So yeah, but the festivals and stuff, I think everybody really missed live music during COVID. So I think all the festivals have been in great attendance and stuff. So that's pretty awesome. And, we're getting a lot of shows. I know a lot of bands are getting a lot of shows. The cruises are coming back. So I think it's in good shape. I think, hopefully there's just becomes a better model for like the not so mainstream musicians that are, the Taylor Swifts to also get paid, fairly and make their own money. I feel like a lot of revenue for bands comes from like merchandise and stuff like that. And, not so much album sales because of the online streaming, but I don't really know. Bottom line is I don't know, but I'm interested to find out where it goes.
Yeah, it's same here. No, it's interesting because you do have a degree in music business, right? And with that said, I'm fascinated with it because several times on this show, we've talked about this very thing. We're living in a world of instant gratification. Everything is right there for you. And does that lessen the value of music? Do you believe that lessens the value of it?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious, just coming from, a music business mind like yourself.
When things are, in high supply, when things are scarce, the prices go up, right?
Right. But again, it's like nobody's paying for records anymore because everybody's streaming everything.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a crazy time that we're living in for sure. But I think that there needs to be an overhaul, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's good to hear that what you're catching is that something's moving in the right direction, and I hope that's the case. I'm going to take a short break from my conversation with the talented and lovely Britt Lightning to tell you about Partake Brewing. About 7 years ago, I decided to stop drinking alcohol. Now, before we go any further, I'm not here telling anybody what to do, what not to do, what to drink, what not to drink. This was a decision that I made on my own. However, I did have some friends that were trying to introduce me to some non-alcoholic beers. Well, bless their hearts, try as they might, they failed because, quite frankly, those beers didn't taste very good. But they did get me thinking about possibly finding something that would satisfy my palate. Well, introduce Partake. I was blown away. This beer was outstanding. So many varieties and all of them delicious. It got me thinking of days gone by when I was drinking, wishing that I had Partake because it was that good. It's that beer goodness without the guilt, without the inebriation, without the hangovers, just a great beer. In fact, all my beer-loving buddies, those aficionados, thought that it tasted amazing as well. And for those of you that are a little bit more health conscious, maybe watching your figure, Partake has minimal calories and minimal carbohydrates. Check it out for yourself. As a matter of fact, the CEO and founder of Partake, Ted Fleming, over a decade ago, he had to give up alcohol because of a medical condition, but he missed his beer. And that's why he created something so amazing. So I urge you all, if you guys are wanting to check out some great non-alcoholic beers with just a ton of variety, go check out Partake. You can find them at www.drinkpartake.com. That is www.drinkpartake.com. My favorite is the Pale. You tell me what your favorite is, but give them a try and let them know that your buddy KV sent you. What did you do during the pandemic?
During the pandemic, I ended up I was very busy.
You're always busy.
I started off thinking I was going to make a surf album.
What?
Surf rock. That's what I really want to do when I have the time. I'm excited to
do a surf rock record?
Yeah.
No way. Okay.
Yeah, that's on my bucket list. So I want to do that. So I started to do that and then didn't get too far. And then, was talking to David, the owner of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, and we decided to launch this online series over Zoom of master classes with artists. So, I did over 160 online master classes with people like Roger Daltrey from The Who and Alice Cooper. And we got managers too, like Shep Gordon. We had Jason Paul from Mama Records. So it was really interesting. So we would run these classes, and sometimes I would do 4 of these classes in a day. And basically it was just, talking to these artists and the talent. And we would have people come on and ask questions. It was almost like hanging out in the green room with them, but it was so much more than like, hi, how are you? Because we talked for over an hour. And, I had Alice Cooper on there, and we're at 2 hours. It was supposed to be an hour each class. And he's like, don't worry about it. I have nowhere to be. I could stay here. Like, nobody had anywhere to go.
Right,
so
right.
It was a cool time. And it was interesting talking to people at that time too, because the future was so uncertain. We didn't know. I remember Roger saying, like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get on stage again. Maybe this is it for big concerts and performances. So it's a really interesting, authentic experience talking to them at that time, because nobody was out promoting a tour or a record. It was just like real talk. It was cool.
Right. And lucky us, things are kind of getting back to normal. You're getting back out on the road. I'm getting back out on the road. And that's a wonderful thing. And you've been out lately. Tell me about that. What are the crowds like? How do you feel that, the music goers are doing these days? Like, is it back in full force? Is it still kind of wait? I
think so. Yeah, we're doing the meet and greets again and stuff like that. So I remember playing during the pandemic and having like a plexiglass between us and the
right
people online. I know that was wacky. So it's good to just feel not so concerned anymore.
That's good. So for those that may not know, tell us about the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. What is it? What does it do? Yeah,
so it's been around for about 25 years, and it's basically a 4-day experience where you join a band. I assign the bands. I put you in a band according to your skill level and experience, and then you jam with this band for 4 days. And over the 4 days, you have a rock star counselor. I'm also one of the rock star mentors. So you get a counselor for each band, and they help you to become a band, work together, sound good, coach you, and then you get to jam songs with your favorite artists who are headlining. So, for example, we had, one of the ones we just had was Joe Perry from Aerosmith, right? So you get to jam, your band jams a song with Joe Perry, jams an Aerosmith tune, jam with Tico Torres. You guys play a Bon Jovi song. And then we had Vernon Reid, so jam with Vernon Reid. And in addition to playing with your heroes, we have jam rooms where you can play with all the other counselors. So that's like, it's so cool, because we'll have like, Rudy Sarzo or something, or Vinny Appice, playing Black Sabbath songs with them,
right.
People that recorded on the records and stuff. So there's that. We have master classes. We have Q&A sessions with all the artists. And then you have 2 live performances. It's when we do them in LA, for example, you perform live at the Whiskey and at the Viper Room. And it's really cool because, it's interesting people that come. They're not musicians. Usually the majority are not musicians professionally. It's a hobby. They kind of always wish they had done it, but maybe they're a nurse or they're, something else. Or a lawyer. We had a lot of lawyers at the last camp for some reason. We had a whole band of lawyers. We put them all together. And, and so they really just get so excited. And you see the excitement. It's like when you were in your first garage band, that excitement, you see that all over again.
Right.
And adults, it's all ages, but it's mostly adults, and it's so cool. Some of the artists say it just makes you remember where you came from and oh yeah, I'm so lucky to do this, for my living, because these people, they wish they did this for a living. They get to do it for this one weekend and feel like a rock star, and it's really special, but we get to do this all the time. So we should be really grateful. So it's fun in that aspect. And then also you do see growth within people, because some of these people have never been on stage before. They've never played outside their bedrooms. And it's now they're out rocking the Whiskey a Go-Go. This guy came out, he had a cape, he had the whole outfit. He had never played on stage before, and he just crushed it. And you would never know he'd never been on stage before. So you see a lot of growth in, personally, with confidence and things like that too, in addition to musically. So it's fun and it's rewarding. It's awesome.
You sound so passionate about it. So passionate. It's great.
It's awesome. Well, and to think that's kind of my day job, as opposed to doing the Vixen gig. So it's it's a pretty good deal. It's I love it.
Yeah, you have some fun gigs for sure.
Yeah, it's inspiring.
When you're not playing music, when you're not out touring, what do you like to do? What kind of hobbies do you have?
I love to go hiking. I love to paint. I love to go to the ocean. I'm really big into just being outside and being kind of athletic and doing things like that, working out, but more so outside. And let's see, what else do I do? Painting is a big one. And, trying to make time to write more songs and do that, of course. Cooking, I like to cook. I love going to classic car shows. I love classic cars.
Wow. Cool.
I like target shooting. Trying to think what else I do. I think I covered most of it. And I like to read, but boy, I've been on the same book, I think, since COVID.
I know the feeling. And for those that do not follow you on social media, let me tell you guys something. Your social media is so fun because it does show you out and about and going here and going there and going to all these amazing places. It just seems like your life it's just this one big, it's an adventure. Kind of makes you feel like, oh man, this is so cool that somebody's actually going and doing this and inspiring. It's like, man, I want to go out and do that.
Oh, thanks for saying that. Well, my life is really happy and I'm very grateful. And I try to remember that every day, that I'm very thankful to be able to do what I love, because that's, I've been in jobs and where I did not enjoy it. And I was like, I don't know how I could live like this. So, at the end of the day, you got to answer to yourself, and you have to be happy, and nothing, no money, no person, nothing is going to make you truly happy unless you are happy inside. So I think that's above all else, should be a priority.
I agree with you. In a million years, did you ever see yourself doing this?
I mean, I had kind of this weird tunnel vision that's all I could see myself doing. That's the only thing, like, at 15, I was like, that's the only thing that's going to make me happy. That's all I want to do, but I don't know if I ever really thought it was possible, but I saw no other alternative.
That's great. That's great. And as far as new music, if you were to do a solo project, would it be just a surf record or?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think many of the fans would like it. They'd be like, what the hell is this? Why are you giving us this?
Well, why a surf record? Yeah, why a surf record? That's interesting. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say that.
Kind of like
ever.
Yeah, kind of like stoner rock surf, a lot of like effects pedals and just like fun, like that you would hear like in the background of a movie, kind of.
Sure. That's
I enjoy that stuff. I don't know why, but I do know why. I mean, I really like tiki. I have so I go to like this tiki festival every year and stuff like that. And I'm really into tiki culture and, which is weird, but it involves surf music and Mai Tais and fun things like that.
Right.
And retro art and stuff. So yeah.
Yet another reason why you get out to California, right?
Yeah.
You don't really get that in Boston very much.
No, not so much.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Your voice is so great, by the way. It's like you have the perfect voice for this.
Oh, it's called a ton of cigarettes and Jack Daniels for many years. So, yeah. I mean, I don't drink anymore. I don't smoke anymore. So all that I'm, left with is this. So, whether I'm singing or talking, that's what happened. So yeah. I appreciate that though. That's really sweet. What's your favorite part about being in a band or being, on stage or just a part of this lifestyle?
Well, first of all, I love playing music. I love meeting new people. I love connecting with, playing on stage, the energy you give off stage, you give and you get energy, from the audience and then you give it to them. And it's like this awesome energy exchange. And then the energy between the girls on stage and the camaraderie. And it's, you really feel like you're in a kind of like a special little gang and you guys all work hard together individually to make this big sound and you're creating something and it's a positive thing. You're giving people a good time and everybody's having fun. And so I love all those aspects and I love to travel too. I love being in new cities and trying new foods and, going to the local record stores and guitar shops in every city that I travel to. And just meeting new people. And I just feel like it's a great way to fully experience everything in life.
I like that. I like that answer. That's a good answer. Yeah. Who are you listening to these days?
Oh boy. I hate this question because I'm never listening to anything new and fresh.
Which is just fine,
Oh, you know who I just discovered, though? Robert Randolph.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I didn't really know his stuff before. He's really good. I was listening to him yesterday. But, I always listen to, like, Derek Trucks. And I like John Mayer, and I like his new stuff, too. I'm trying to think of kind of current people. But, I still just listen to, like, Jimi Hendrix and Tom Petty. And
right. So you're into, like, a lot of the classic rock type stuff.
Yeah. I listen to a lot of 60s and 70s stuff. I love the Eagles.
Your favorites? Yeah. I was going to ask you about that because I always see you sporting the Eagles shirts.
Yeah, I love the Eagles. Yeah, I think, some of the top ones, Eagles, Tom Petty, I still love Van Halen and all that stuff too. But, I listen to a lot of blues, a lot of, like just old blues. And I listen to a lot of jazz. I mean, when I'm working, I can't really listen to fun stuff with a lot of lyrics. So I listen to a lot of like Coltrane and stuff like that. I listen to a lot of 1940s music, like Glenn Miller Orchestra and stuff. I like all that stuff. I listen to like French music. I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place.
You are all over the place, and that kind of, well, in a good way, because that kind of comes through, right? Because, I that kind of answers the question I'm about to ask you. Is where did you find your versatility as a guitar player? Because I mean, you're going from Lady Gaga to Alejandro Sanz to to Vixen, and here, there, and everywhere. So how did you become so versatile?
I think I always liked Sinatra and like Louis Armstrong because my grandfather would pick me up from school and that would be in his car, So I always still listen to that kind of stuff, which kind of led me into more jazzy stuff. Like Etta James and Nina Simone and, all that kind of stuff. So I love all that. But then, of course, I had the rock and roll because I liked playing guitar. And so I wanted to learn the stuff with the cool guitar solo. So really got into the 80s stuff there. But I think just from traveling too, I think that really helps you. Like if you go to Brazil, like going out, like I try to see local music if I go to different countries and stuff like that to get a vibe for, different sounds and stuff. And the Alejandro thing, it's so interesting because, they do a lot of like clapping and stuff. And that's like, you grow up learning how to like clap along like flamenco style and stuff. Yes. And that's not anything like I would have known about. Like I didn't do anything musical like that with my family. So it's interesting to see like how different backgrounds affect, the music of where you grow up. But yeah, and then my tiki fascination got me interested in like adventures, and so that's where that kind of came from. And
adventures, man, this surf thing is killing me. I love it.
Yeah, so I don't know, but and then of course I just love good classic rock, Fleetwood Mac, all that kind of stuff. I just love, the classics. So
I mean, it's classic for a reason, right?
It is. You never get sick of it. I'll never get sick of hearing "Take It Easy." I don't know how many times I've heard it, but I still don't change it when it comes on.
Right. I mean, so you love the Eagles.
Well, I love Joe Walsh. I love Glenn. But it's just everybody's so talented. Don's solo stuff is great. Joe's solo stuff is great. Yeah, everybody is it's like just such a power group.
Yeah, so, and it really was. I mean, when you think about it, everybody kind of had their own thing, which was phenomenal, and then together, it's like the sum of all parts just create this just juggernaut, if you will.
All aspects. Yeah.
All right. What's the best gig you have ever done? What's your favorite, the best show that you've ever played?
Good question. Boy, I like so many of them. I'm having fun on every show I've ever played. So, but
that's the
I think
politician answer now. Come on, let's go with it.
Okay. I think one of the most memorable shows was the very first show we played with Alejandro because I was so nervous, and we changed the set list to do the old tour set list for just this one gig that came in. And I didn't know any of those songs. So we had to like learn a whole new set like really fast. And I was just so freaked out. And we got to the gig, and it's this beautiful castle I think it was in Barcelona. And it was overlooking the ocean, and like you could see the ocean on the other side of the cliff from the stage. And it was just this beautiful outdoor amphitheater. And even though I was so worried and so nervous, the gig was over like that. And I don't even remember thinking during it. It was one of those like kind of out of body experiences because it just all came together, everything you were worried about. I just, with all the beauty and everything and just being there, I forgot it all and just was in it. It was kind of just like being in the zone.
I like that.
That's always been really memorable.
And now with that said, the worst gig you've ever played.
I think I blocked it from my memory.
No.
I've had them. Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. One of them was when I was wearing these like cool strappy shoes and the strap broke, and then I had to kick the shoe off, and then I had one shoe on and one shoe off for a while. That wasn't fun. Or just those ones where everything goes wrong. Your shoe breaks, the strap breaks, strap locks fall off somehow. The string breaks. I remember going out. We were playing again Barcelona with Vixen. We were doing a festival. It wasn't the worst gig ever. I loved the gig, but I had a new wireless, went out down the catwalk to do a guitar solo, and just like struck the pose and went to go for it, and just silence. Like,
Oh, wow.
wireless like didn't reach there, and I was like, well, I feel stupid, and just walked back. You know,
I went out there just to pose. I'm sure it was just fine, and people loved it anyway. But it's definitely those Spinal Tap moments that you know, that always get me, especially with everybody that I'm talking to. You know, those are those moments because we've all had them.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have all had them, and I guess one of the things I like doing with this show is just kind of showing that, yeah, for whatever it is that people love about the shows, and you know, there's that other side. There's a very real side where things can go wrong. Things do go wrong.
Oh,
Some things
they
are just
always go wrong.
hilarious.
The art is to make it so that nobody else realizes that everything's going.
Yes.
But something goes wrong every show, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally. Oh my gosh. If you were to give advice to young women that are just starting out in rock and roll or any kind of music, what would it be?
To young women, I would say just keep doing what you're doing. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it or make you feel inferior or less capable. Don't compare yourself to anybody else because there's nobody like you. And so it doesn't matter how great somebody else is. Nobody plays like you. Nobody is you. Nobody expresses themselves like you do. And that, yeah, we're all unique, and try to, you know, put the ego aside and just really be in it. And if you love it, you have to do it. So stick with it. And you will be happy if you follow your heart.
I like it. All right. So now we're getting, you know, towards the end of the show here. I do this little thing where I just throw out questions, and this is top of your head, right?
Okay.
Not too much thinking involved. It's just go, go, go. All right.
Okay.
And for you, Miss Tiki, surf guitar goddess, you. Top 3 guitar players.
Eddie Van Halen, David Gilmour, and Jimi Hendrix.
I like it. If you could tour with anybody alive, who would it be?
Joe Walsh.
If you could tour with anybody that's passed on, who would it be?
Eddie Van Halen.
Nice. That's a good one. Okay. Dream band. Like if somebody just asked you, Britt, we need a guitar player, who would it be? Who's that dream band of yours?
Alive or dead?
What's that?
Alive or dead? It doesn't matter.
Either one. Let's go both. Let's do both. Alive and dead.
Okay, I think it'd be cool to jam with Jimi Hendrix. Maybe with who would I put on drums? Oh, this is hard. Maybe Neil Peart on drums. Let's see, on bass, maybe I don't know. Billy Sheehan's pretty amazing. He's just one of our rock camps. Singer. This is hard. There's too many, and I'm not thinking. Okay, I'm the lightning round, right?
The Britt Lightning round. I like that. Hey, see what I did there?
Lightning round. Singer. Let's see. We'll put Glenn Frey on vocals then.
Wow. Okay. Somehow Neil Peart and Glenn Frey just kind of like just made my head spin a little bit. But that right on. This is your band, so it's totally cool. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Top 3 desert island records.
Okay, maybe One of These Nights, the Eagles. Damn the Torpedoes, Tom Petty, and Van Halen 1.
Very cool. All right, this is the last one here. There's one song you wish you wrote. What would it be?
Hotel California.
Wow. Okay. Very good. Man, it's been too long, and I'm just so happy to see you and just your smiling face. And, you know, you it's nice. You guys can't see it. I can see it. I'm the lucky one. So it's like, you know, just the passion and the smile. She hasn't stopped smiling this entire interview. So this is a good thing. Makes me feel good inside, all warm and fuzzy like. Anyhow, Britt, you're amazing, and I just wish you all of the best. You're successes, and just I love you. I love you as a guitar player. I love you as a person. You're just one of the good ones out there. So thank you
Likewise, and good luck with tour. And I hope to see you on the road.
Yes, yeah, we got to do that at some point. I'm hoping that we can. It'd be good to see you again. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show. And there you go, everybody. Thank you so much, Britt.
Okay, thank you for having me. Great to see you.
And that would be all she wrote. I want to thank my special guest this week, the lovely, the talented, the tiki goddess, the surf guitar queen. Can you believe that? The whole surf thing, that's unreal to me. I love it. The badass guitarist extraordinaire, Britt Lightning of Vixen. Man, I think the world of her. I really do. And I urge you guys to go catch Vixen on the road when they come to a town near you. The band is sounding great, and really, just marvel at Britt's skills. She's incredible. Also, go find her on social media because, yeah, it feels like you're right there. You're tagging along with her on her adventures. It's good stuff. Speaking of having an adventure, www.kenvaldez.com. It's an adventure, I tell you. If you want to learn more about this show, go there. I have tour dates up right now. Also, I have links to my social media. I love hearing from you guys, so I'll get back in touch with you. Just go hit those links and go follow and go like and go do all that stuff. But hit me up, man. I love hearing from y'all. Also, you get to find out more about my music. I got a lot going on, my friends. Also, if you like this show, let me tell you something. If you like this show and you want to show some support, show a little love, go visit me at Venmo. My Venmo handle is @KenValdez, and I will tell you right now, a little love goes a long way. This show, man, it takes a lot of effort, time, energy, and money to have guests like Britt Lightning of Vixen come on here for you. So, there you go. If you want to help out, that's the way to do it. Well, that's about it, my friends. Until next time, be good to each other. Take care of one another. Bye-bye.